Guys, we're at the Rick Rule conference here, and I am chatting with Shane Williams from West Red Lake Gold Mines. We're going to talk about how the company plans to restart the Madsen Mine project, which they purchased off of Pure Gold. And we get into what investors should see as the big risks if they decide to hop in, and what the company's looking to do over the remainder of 2024. All right, everybody, enjoy the interview. Shane, thanks for joining us today.
Great to be on. Thank you very much.
So, Shane, let's start off talking a little bit about the macro environment with gold right now. Obviously, you're CEO of a gold company. I'm sure you've been following the events over the last 12 months. What's your read on the gold market right now?
Yeah, look, we're very excited about the gold market, actually. Obviously, we're building a gold company in that environment, and we do believe gold is going much higher. You know, there's a lot going on in the gold market at the moment. You know, we've had all this with the liquidity in the market for many, many months now, driving inflation, which is always a good hedge for gold, a good headwind for gold. You also see recently a lot of buying from the East. You know, central banks have been buying gold for a long time now, for the last couple of years. And recently we've seen a lot of movement of gold in China and other countries buying gold. And that's beginning to drive. And the gold market is really being pushed towards the East now, where they're buying a lot of gold.
Now, as the CEO of you guys, I believe, are just about to go back into production. Do you pay much attention to the macro environment with gold, or are you mostly just project focused?
No, the concept of the company was created around that macro opportunity. So, you know, one of our main backers is Frank Giustra. Frank has been very successful in building large companies, and most of that was during the last big run-up of gold back in 2010 and 11. So the concept of the company was to try and repeat that success in a rising gold environment. So yes, it was built around that macro environment, and we watched that macro environment. And also, we chose the company, the Madsen project, because it's quick to cash flow. You know, a lot of these early stage take many years to get into production.
So let's talk about that. Pure Gold took a run at the project before, spent oodles of money, took on massive amounts of debt, which I think many people said ultimately took them under. You guys bought the mill and the project for what appears to be pretty pennies on the dollar. What did they do wrong outside of the debt that you guys think you can get right?
Yeah, so the mines in Red Lake, in the Red Lake region, are complex geology. You know, it is a complex area. They're high grade, they're complex, but it does need a lot of work, a lot of drilling, a lot of understanding of the geology. And unfortunately, look, they got a bit carried away in the market. Their market cap went to $1.2 billion at one stage. And I think the euphoria of that, the debt, they pushed hard to get into production very, very quickly. And part of that was they didn't understand the geology or the challenges of mining. And another thing was their team, the Pure Gold team, were never mine builders, mine operators. They were more early stage exploring, the Oxygen Group. So a combination of those facts caused them challenges to start up. And then, unfortunately, COVID hit at the same time. So there was a couple of headwinds, but fundamentally, technically, they didn't do the work that was required on the geology and the drilling.
Yeah, what I heard from speaking with one of the former team members was that they felt that they should have gone after the higher grade gold first, and they went after some of the lower grade gold, and that really screwed up their economics.
Yeah, they did. There was a zone called the McVeigh zone. And look, I understand why they did it. It's close to surface. It's not very deep. It's close to surface. They could drill it from surface. They could get at it quickly. If you want to show the world you're in production, you go for that stuff. Unfortunately, it is the lower grade material, and it's the easier to get to. To get to the deeper mine, Red Lake is known for its high grade, deep mines. So you need to go down, you need to develop, you need to spend money to get there. And they just didn't use that time and effort, and ended up with lower grade, with all those other headwinds. That's ultimately what caused them to go under, basically.
Now, you guys announced a news release that I thought was wildly fascinating, that you guys found 2,500 ounces of gold just lying around in old equipment at the mill. Were you surprised by this, or is this sort of standard?
I was surprised. Normally these old mines that have worked historically have a lot of gold in them, tied up in the system and locked up. But, you know, we didn't expect it in such a new mill. Remember, this mill was only 3 or 4 years old, so it's very unusual to find so much gold. So we did expect some gold, But I went up early days and I had a look at the mill and looked at some key parts of it, and we could see there was gold built up. A lot of it, unfortunately, was because certain equipment wasn't installed properly, wasn't installed correctly, and that held up the gold in it. But look, it was a good bonus to get of gold, basically. We poured a gold bar, we got some good PR from it, and it also helped us to de-risk the startup because we actually got the machines going, we got the furnaces going, we got the production going. We could see that everything was working again on it. So it gave us a good, and more importantly, we learned the lesson of why the gold was there so we can fix it the next time, you know?
So where does the project sit right now? What is the production ramp up look like over the next couple of years?
So we've been doing drilling probably for the last 9 months now. The idea is to reset the resource, get a good understanding of the resource, and we're doing a pre-feasibility study at the moment. And so with that resource, do a mine plan and get reserves, and use that pre-feasibility study as a base to restart the mine. So, you know, we're buying capital equipment already, we're buying some equipment that the previous team didn't buy, and the plan would be early next year to start the ramp up and full production mid-2025. So it's really a quick return to cash flow.
From a staffing perspective, how hard is it to go and, like, I mean, it was operating before, a lot of people lost their jobs, it's in a pretty remote area. How hard is it to restaff a project like that?
We've been pretty lucky. Red Lake has a very good history of mining. So there's a lot of history in the region. Evolution Mining has a big operation, the old Goldcorp operations. There's a lot of activity around that area. A lot of local people actually live in the region that have mines, worked in the mines for a long time. So we've been lucky really to be able to get, so thus far we have 100 people at site. Most of them are local and most of them have experience. So we've been lucky in that sense to get people.
Okay, so if I'm an investor following West Red Lake and I'm considering hopping in, what am I thinking about in terms of risk here over the next couple of years? What's the when I talk to an investment I like with large investors, it's usually the question I always get asked is, Steve, what's my risk here? What's the big risk of this not working out? What would you say is the big risk here?
Yeah, look, sometimes when you're building mines and you're doing mining, it's the second group that get lucky in a sense, you know? So a lot of the risk that was there, the understanding, we've learned the geology, we've learned the understanding of it. But again, look, we have to prove it. So there's a lot of overhang because of this previous operators and because of everything, and we're finding that in the market. It's a tough sell. People are saying it failed before, how come you guys are different? So as we do that now, as we do our pre-feasibility, I think people will understand the scale of the deposit, the reserves that are there. We're also going to do a test mining program, bulk sample to reconcile on the resource. And I think they're the two kind of major milestones that we need to do to show the market that yes, we understand the geology, we've done the work, and then we use that as a base to restart. But I think until that's done, the market will be a bit nervous on our restart.
So if I'm an investor watching and I kind of want to evaluate the company over the remainder of 2024, what am I looking out for in terms of news flow?
Yeah, so we've a couple of things going on. We have a lot of good drill results. As we're drilling now, we've got some great drill results over the last 12 months, and we'll be doing that in parallel. But more importantly, you'll see the de-risking as we move closer to production. You'll see a pre-feasibility study, which remember will be a very robust pre-feasibility because all the capital has been spent. So normally in a project, you have a huge outlay of capital to build a project. So we'll have that pre-feasibility. We're going to start some test mining underground to just prove it, as I said, a bulk sample, which again will be de-risking. So as you see those, it means we're moving closer to production. So they're the catalyst, I think, that will drive the stock and drive it near to production.
Well, Shane, thanks very much for joining us today. And I think you guys got a really interesting project. I've been following it for years, back when it was the original West Red Lake. And,
Okay, good.
and I'm excited to see what you guys can do.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you.